I am scared as fuck to make this video. How's it going, everyone? This is the Anime Man. As much as I like to think that I am an avid fan of the Japanese animations or whatever, I also like to consider myself a pretty avid music geek. My overall goal in life is to expand my preferences and taste in music in all sorts of different ways, and give each one a go fairly and squarely before I go and judge them. And I'm not saying here that I only listen to quote-unquote good music, because opening that can of worms up is like asking if sub or dub is better in anime. Obviously the answer is sub, but that's not important right now. If you've been on the internet for long enough, and you have been a part of this anime community for long enough, then you might know of a little thing called Nightcore. Now, when I first heard about Nightcore in the comments of my videos and all over anime forums that I used to be on, just hearing Nightcore, I originally thought that it was the name of some kind of, like, Japanese visual kei band, like Nightmare or L69 or Sendai Kamotsu. But it turns out it's not a band at all, but rather an entire genre of music. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say genre of music? I meant to say genre of music. Hopefully by the end of this video you'll understand why I did punctuate that word with some rather large air quotations. Now, before we move on with this video, I hope you guys can just give me a little bit of time to do some initial damage control before any kind of shitstorm starts stirring up down there. First of all, as the title suggests, this is my honest opinions. And let me just highlight the word opinions, being that whatever I say in this video does not necessarily have to reflect on how you feel about the topic. Whether you completely agree with my points or disagree with my points doesn't have to necessarily change how you feel, because that is not the point of this video. Truth be told, I planned on making this video months ago, almost an entire year ago actually, but I hesitated a number of times and rewrote this script like you have no fucking idea. I used Twitter polls and even that shitty YouTube community section that nobody ever fucking uses, just so I can nail down if you guys actually wanted to see me make a video on this, because I am fully aware that the subject of Nightcore in the anime community is a very touchy subject and is also very black and white. You either love everything about it or hate it like it's Hitler. There are really no in between. So I wanted to give a, again, fair and square go when expressing my opinions on this topic, because this is a discussion video, a think piece if you will, and I have to give both sides of the spectrum an equal chance to shine. Whew, alright, now that that's out of the way, let's begin. So first of all, for all of you viewers who don't know what Nightcore is, a Nightcore edit is a remix track that speeds up its source material by 20% and increases its pitch. The name for the internet-based music was originally defined as sped up and pitch-shifted versions of trance, techno, and Eurodance songs, but its definition expanded into non-dance territory by the time the remix style became popular in the 2010s. The type of music that started as a subgenre of trance is still considered so by many people. Indeed, dedicated trance fans usually call it happy Nightcore to indicate its similar but different nature. Nightcore is categorized by sped-up melodies sometimes, fast rhythmic beat usually, and higher than normal pitch. Almost all Nightcore music are original songs Nightcored, remixed into Nightcore, by Nightcore fans. What I just read out was the word-for-word definition of Nightcore from Wikipedia. Links in the description. Notice here how the word anime never appears in this paragraph. And yet, for some strange reason, Nightcore is so strongly connected to anime and the otaku community. From the research that I found, it just seems to have become this tradition for people who like trance music and EDM, or more specifically, happy hardcore, UK hardcore, etc., to use cute anime girls in their videos to categorize themselves away from the other standard trance EDM types of music videos. Much like how standard trance dance music videos use that really generic, like, emo goth girl in their videos, and how lyric videos on YouTube use that, like, weird blue backdrop. It's just become a tradition over time. There is no particular reason for it. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. If anything, that was a good way for anime fans to bond with other anime fans back in the day. Especially considering that when Nightcore and happy hardcore songs started to emerge in the early 2000s, the online anime community was a lot more spread out and sparse and not really as connected as it is today. The other reason for using cute anime girls in their videos, from what I have seen, is due to the fact that a lot of early Nightcore songs were remixes of female vocals. And if you increase the pitch of said female vocals, as per Nightcore remix, then it almost gets to a point where it sounds otherworldly. Kind of like how Hatsune Miku sounds human but also not quite at the same time. The extended pitch of the female vocals almost makes it seem like a cute anime girl might be potentially singing this song now instead of just a regular female. And a lot of people liked that sound and aesthetic when paired with trance, happy hardcore, and other EDM styled music. Now, I don't say this often, but let's see how this could be a good thing. Early Nightcore tracks consisted mainly of sped up EDM trance type of songs, most of which were already originally created to have a rather fast, made-for-dance type of tempo. So for Nightcore to speed up the track by 20% of a song that was already relatively fast-paced in tempo doesn't really change the values of the song all that much, and if anything, sounds more like an actual remix of a song. Some people like to dance fast, but some people like to dance a little bit faster, and for those kinds of people, Nightcore was the answer. But eventually, people started to incorporate other types of music, more specifically, different songs from anime, like openings and endings of certain series. By now creating and spreading these Nightcore remixes of anime openings and endings, endings and not only brought together the already quite sparse and distant anime community, but arguably introduced a lot of people to new types of music, new genres of music that they otherwise never would have known about. Not everybody who listens to trance and Eurodance and other EDM type of music necessarily listen to anime songs, and so it was back then a perfect meld for two different communities to basically come together. Not only that, it also birthed and popularized the AMV community, with many people using these Nightcore remix versions of anime songs paired with the anime visuals because it just matched and worked and sounded better. And again, the widespread popularity of AMVs, especially in the early 2000s, also contributed to the sparse and distant anime community to come together to bond and get excited about something. Whether you like AMVs or not, you really can't deny the rather big impact that it caused for the Western anime community back in the day. Now, it would have been great if Nightcore stayed innocent like that, but guess what, it didn't! First of all, to call Nightcore a genre of music is kind of like calling reaction videos original content. Because that's what Nightcore essentially is. It's the reaction videos of music. To make a Nightcore track, or quote-unquote remix, one must have a very high level of skill and talent to do two specific things. Increase the speed and pitch of a song that you didn't make by 20 to 30%, and pair that with a video of a still image of an anime character that you also didn't make. To call Nightcore a genre of music is already an insult to actual genres of music out there, but I think to even call Nightcore a remix is also a bit of an insult. A remix is a piece of media which has been altered from its original state by adding, removing, and or changing pieces of the item. In the case with most Nightcore songs, the only thing that is added is my annoyance to people who make these kinds of things, and the only thing that is removed is my overall enjoyment of the music. I think the biggest argument when it comes to Nightcore is its legitimacy as an actual remix of music. So let's look through this Wikipedia article to see what exactly constitutes as a remix. Songs may be remixed for a variety of reasons, as stated below. To adapt or revise a song for radio or nightclub play, which doesn't apply because you don't hear Nightcore songs being played at nightclubs unless you're at some kind of anime convention. I mean, I guess you could stumble upon it at a regular nightclub too, but it's certainly not stuff that people are looking for. To create a stereo or surround sound version of a song where none was previously available, which I will admit in this case does apply to Nightcore, since it is very difficult to come across anime songs from a Western standpoint in a legal fashion. But that doesn't excuse the huge amount of Nightcore songs of Western tracks that are readily available for people over in the West through things like Spotify and YouTube and iTunes. Also, in this day and age, the issues of unavailability doesn't really apply to a lot of people because you can easily go onto YouTube and see people re-uploading entire anime openings and endings on there anyway. But of course, sometimes it's impossible to find those kinds of songs because they're always overridden by the fucking Nightcore remixes of it. To improve the fidelity of an older song for which the original master has been lost or degraded. You can argue that a lot of Nightcore remixes achieve the opposite of that. To alter a song to suit a specific music genre or radio format. This one can actually be true if you consider Nightcore a genre of music, but really when it comes to this point, I feel it boils down to the quality of mixing. I understand people who make Nightcore remixes of trance or hardcore or other EDM, but what the hell's the point of creating a Nightcore remix of an acoustic song? Like, you're forcefully trying to create a dance track out of every single goddamn non-dance genre of music? Like, no! Not every fucking anime song needs to be a Nightcore remix, alright? It's just listen to it as it is. To use some of the same materials, allowing the song to reach a different audience. If all these Nightcore remixes of anime songs are listened to by anime fans, and all these Nightcore remixes of Western songs are being listened to by people who listen to Western music, it's not really reaching a different audience, is it? To alter a song for artistic purposes. If speeding up a song by 20% is considered artistic, then I might as well call myself Jackson Pollock every time I take a shit. To provide additional versions of a song for use as bonus tracks or for a B-side, for example, in times when a CD single might carry a total of 4 tracks. Nobody buys or distributes Nightcore CDs, and nobody wants to. To create a connection between a smaller artist and a more successful one, as was the case with Fatboy Slim's remix of Brimful of Asher by Corner Shop. Nobody gives a shit about the Nightcore artist, only the songs, if even that. To improve the first or demo mix of the song, generally to ensure a professional product. Nightcore remixes sound professional because they're taking the sound and aesthetic from an already professionally mixed song. Speeding up a song by 20 to 30% and adding nothing to it is not a professional mix. Like, your fucking grandma can do that. To provide an alternate version of a song. Again, this one does apply. Nightcore versions of a song are without a doubt an alternate version of the song, but then it really boils down to the quality of composition. With that same logic, I could take, say, an Eminem track and completely reverse the song and call it a reverse remix, which would technically still be an alternate version of the song, but that doesn't mean that people are gonna listen to it and enjoy it and being like, oh man, that's an artistic endeavor if I've ever seen one. Nor are people gonna take me seriously as an artist because there's nothing fucking artistic about it. It's literally 3 clicks on an audio program, if that. And finally, to improve a song from its original state. Can somebody please tell me what about this Alvin and the Chipmunks sounding shit is better than the original? Even if somebody decided to make a Nightcore remix of a universally hated song by everybody on the internet, it doesn't change anything because either way, it's gonna be hated because nothing has changed about the song. The only benefit to listening to a Nightcore version of a universally hated song is that because it's 20 to 30% faster, it will be over 20 to 30% faster. So as you can see, even after going through all the different versions of what can be defined as a remix, Nightcore is not a fucking remix of anything. When I did all these polls on Twitter and on YouTube about this video and the topic of this video, I got a lot of people saying, well, I used to listen to Nightcore when I was younger, but as I got older, I kind of stopped listening to it. I don't know if I'm the one who just missed out on the boat personally, but I never did. Because even before I actually sat down and listened to some Nightcore, I wasn't a fan of it purely from the concept of it. The fact of knowing that there are entire YouTube channels out there who upload or even sometimes re-upload Nightcore versions of popular songs and get millions of views from them with ads on it, mind you, just makes me lose so much faith for it. Like someone took my faith and just went, see ya. Because the thing is, you can't even call these Nightcore songs covers either because there is no human hand that is aiding in changing the sound and aesthetic of this song. It's just an excuse to re-upload a popular song that you didn't make and slap your Nightcore name all over it to get some ad revenue. Listen guys, if you really love a song that you found on the internet, don't make a Nightcore version of it. Go to your social media and be like, hey, I found this awesome song that hasn't really been noticed by a lot of people. It's a little bit underground and underappreciated. Put it on your Twitters, put it on your social medias. Go and tell your family and friends, hey, why don't you go check out this music because it's really cool and I like it. That is way easier and way more ethical than taking the song, downloading it, speeding it up by 20 to 30% and being like, boom, now you guys can listen to it because it's Nightcore. This excuse that people are saying of, oh, it's so hard to find good music nowadays and so Nightcore helps me find all sorts of cool artists, is just such an excuse. It's ridiculous. It is not difficult to find good new artists and songs and albums on the internet. I do it all the freaking time on things like YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, Bandcamp. You're just goddamn lazy. If anything, Nightcore is adding to the problem of making these kinds of artists and creators difficult to find on the internet because they're just drowning out all of these creative artists on this already saturated platform like the internet. It isn't artistic, it's just creative theft. So yeah, at this point, I guarantee that already down in the comments or over on my Twitter, there are a bunch of people who are absolutely hating all over my ass for my personal opinions and just trying to witch hunt my ass over this topic, but honestly, I've said my thing, you know, I've said what I needed to say about this. As the title says again, this is my honest opinion, and if you don't like that, then I'm sorry. If nobody else is going to make a video on Nightcore because they're too scared to show their opinions on it, then I'm going to do it because I want to give you my opinions on Nightcore. And hey, look, you can't completely fault me on this, alright? Over 90% of you over on my YouTube community poll said you wanted to see a video on this, so here you go. If anything, the reason why I wanted to make this video is because I just feel so sorry for the actual musicians here in not just the anime community, but on the internet, on YouTube, on Spotify and things like that, that are actually getting affected by these Nightcore remixes. So I'm gonna leave a few links to some channels and artists that I personally listen to and really enjoy, who I consider are great creative musician friends in the description that I want you guys to go check out and actually support. If you want to listen to some actual remixes of anime music, some actual covers of anime music that isn't just sped up Nightcore shit, then click those links, alright? Go check those people out and go support them because they are creative motherfuckers. And yeah, if it wasn't already obvious, I don't like Nightcore. I never have from the moment I heard about its concept, and I just don't understand people who can defend it. Because the thing is, it's not even about whether I like the sound of it personally, or whether I can classify it as good music. Even if it sounded fucking amazing, I'm not sure if I can completely 100% get on board with it because it's just theft. It's just a sneaky way to avoid copyright and is really hitting hard for the actual musicians who put some good musical effort into their covers and remixes of anime songs and other Western songs. Oh boy, I really just made an entire video on my honest opinions on Nightcore. I am going to be crucified! But yeah, what do you guys think about my opinions on Nightcore? Do you agree or disagree? I know that again, this is a very black and white type of argument, so I don't expect everybody to love what I had to say, but I don't expect everybody to exactly hate what I had to say. As I said at the beginning of the video, I gave it a fair chance. I said some good things about Nightcore, I said some bad things about Nightcore, but overall, I am just not a fan of it. But I'm honestly interested to see what both sides of the spectrum have to say about this, so I want you guys to let me know all that kind of stuff in the comments below. Also, if you actually know some, like, really, like, actually good Nightcore remixes, like, stuff that is actually remixed and not just sped up anime songs, then let me know, I guess, over on Twitter. Like, link me the music videos, link me some Nightcore that you guys personally enjoy and that you guys would say is actually a creative Nightcore remix, and I'll be willing to give it a listen. Like, just because I hate Nightcore and I made a whole entire video on why I don't like Nightcore, that doesn't mean I'm going to completely just shut my drawers away from Nightcore. No, if anything, as I said at the beginning of the video, I'm very open to giving everything at least a go. I didn't make this entire video without having sat down and listened to hours and hours of Nightcore. Like, to prepare for this video, I sat down and listened to like 3 to 4 hours of different Nightcore music. It was hell, but I managed to get, I think, a properly fair analysis and construct a properly fair opinion on the entire genre of music. So you gotta give me some credit for that, alright? And yeah, please be gentle to me, haters. Now I know why nobody in the anime community has made a video about this. I'm fucking scared. But you know what? I've said my piece about it. I'm not gonna mention this anymore. If you guys want to argue about it, then feel free to do so in the comments. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. As always, like and favorite if you enjoyed, subscribe for more anime banner, and I'll see you guys in the next video of whatever I make. Keep watching anime. Done.